Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Always.
Awesome. So today we're tackling a concept that I think a lot of us can relate to, and it's the idea of letting go of something called the childhood ego.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And this is all about getting to that true essence of who we are. We're pulling from a piece that really encourages us to examine, those stories we tell ourselves. The stories about who we are, what we're capable of.
Right, those narratives we build up over time.
Exactly. It's kind of fascinating, right? Because sometimes these stories can be super empowering, but sometimes they can also hold us back.
Hmm.
So we're going to unpack all of that today.
I'm intrigued. Let's dive in.
Okay, so to kick things off, I just want to emphasize one thing. When we talk about letting go of the childhood ego, it's not about losing confidence or thinking that who we are now is somehow wrong or bad.
Right, right. It's not about self-criticism.
Exactly. It's more about recognizing that there's a difference between who we are at our core, that authentic self,
Mhm.
and this mask we might have developed based on all these external influences.
Yeah, I think the source describes it as this kind of artificial sense of self that we can create, almost like it's layered over our true essence.
Ooh, that's a great way to put it. It's not the real us, it's this version of us that we've maybe, I don't know, constructed based on what others have told us or expected from us, especially when we were growing up.
Yeah, exactly. Think back to when you were a kid. I mean, we're all sponges then, right? We soak up everything around us. So those messages we hear, you're so good at this, or maybe you're not good at that, those messages start to shape how we see ourselves.
Totally. And think about those limiting beliefs we often carry around. Things like, I'm not good at math, I'm too shy, I could never start my own business. Where do you think those come from?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, right? And often it really does go back to childhood. Maybe we struggled with math in school and got the message that we weren't good at it, or perhaps someone made a comment about our shyness that just stuck with us. And then those beliefs, they kind of become part of our story.
Ugh, it's like they take root.
Uh,
And they can be so sneaky because they often feel so familiar, so true, that we don't even question them.
Yeah, and that's the danger. Because even though these beliefs might be super familiar, they can actually create all these limitations. It's like they're holding us back from reaching our full potential.
It's like invisible walls.
Exactly. Invisible walls. And it's so interesting because the source actually uses a really powerful image to describe this process of letting go of the childhood ego. It quotes a verse from the Bible, 2 Corinthians 5.1. See?
Oh, yeah. I remember that. It says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come.
Powerful, right?
Totally. And I think what's so cool about this verse is that whether you're religious or not, it really captures the essence of what we're talking about, this idea of transformation, shedding an old identity to embrace a truer version of yourself.
Absolutely. It's about growth, renewal, and stepping into a new chapter.
Love that.
Oh,
Okay, so we've talked about what the childhood ego is and why it can be a problem, but how do we actually let go of it? What are some practical steps?
okay. So the source actually suggests that the first step is to just start questioning those beliefs, like really challenging their validity.
Okay, so instead of just accepting those thoughts as truth, we need to start asking ourselves some tough questions.
Yeah.
But what kind of questions should we be asking?
Well, for example, let's say you have this belief that you're not good with money. A great question to ask yourself would be, is there any actual evidence to support that belief?
Ooh, good one.
Right. So maybe you overspent once, or maybe you made a mistake with an investment. But does that one instance really define your entire ability to manage money?
I love that because so often we generalize based on one or two experiences. We take a small sample size and apply it to our entire lives.
Yeah, exactly. It's like taking one data point and creating a whole narrative around it. So it's about looking at the evidence objectively, not just blindly accepting the story we've been telling ourselves.
It's like we're playing detective with our own beliefs. I dig it.
Exactly. And another question that can be super powerful is to ask yourself, where did this belief come from? Did someone tell you this? Did you witness something as a child that might have shaped this belief?
That's so smart. Because so much of what we believe about ourselves comes from those early experiences.
Absolutely. And oftentimes, when we actually trace a belief back to its origin, we can see that it might not even be our own belief to begin with. It might be something we've inherited from our parents, teachers, or even society as a whole.
And that's really the core of this childhood ego concept, right? It's about separating who we truly are from all those stories we've inherited. So how do we start replacing those old beliefs with ones that actually serve us? beliefs that are more empowering and aligned with our true selves.
Well, once you've identified a limiting belief and started to question it, you can begin to consciously choose a new belief that you want to adopt. So, for example, instead of "I'm not good with money," you could choose to believe "I am capable of learning and growing in my financial literacy."
I love that. It's about reframing the narrative.
Yes, exactly. And it's not about pretending that the old belief never existed, but it's about acknowledging it and then consciously choosing a new belief that is more empowering and in alignment with who you want to be.
Wow, this has been such an insightful deep dive. We've talked about what the childhood ego is, how it can hold us back, and some practical steps for letting go of those limiting beliefs. What an amazing journey.
Yeah, it really is a journey. And, as you continue on this path of self-discovery, I want to leave you with one final thought. What if the most powerful act of self-love you could do was to simply let go of the stories that are no longer serving you? What if your true essence, that authentic self you were born with, is just waiting to be uncovered?
What a powerful question. I think that's something we can all ponder as we move forward. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
See you then.